Burrito. The burrito means little donkey in Spanish. One story says a street vendor in northern Mexico wrapped food in a flour tortilla to keep it warm while transporting it on his donkey. The giant foil-wrapped version Americans know today was invented in San Francisco in the 1960s. Chipotle alone sells over 300 million burritos per year. One restaurant chain, one item, 300 million times. The burrito is not Mexican food. It is American food that borrowed a Mexican idea and scaled it into a billion-dollar industry.
Tacos. Tacos predate European arrival in the Americas by centuries. Indigenous people in Mexico were already eating corn tortillas filled with fish, insects, and wild game long before Spanish colonizers arrived. The hard shell taco most Americans associate with Mexican food was invented in the United States and does not exist in Mexico. Americans consume over 4.5 billion tacos every year. That number is so large it does not feel real. It is real. The taco is the most eaten handheld food in America, and Mexico has never officially claimed the version Americans eat.
Shawarma. Shawarma comes from the Turkish word çevirme, meaning turning. Meat stacked on a vertical rotating spit, slow roasted for hours, shaved continuously as it cooks. The technique originated in the Ottoman Empire in the 19th century and spread across 3 continents. In 2012, the film The Avengers ended with Tony Stark suggesting shawarma. Global shawarma restaurant sales spiked within days of the film's release. A superhero movie did more for shawarma awareness than a century of Middle Eastern immigration. Marvel accidentally became the most effective shawarma marketing campaign in history.
Gyros. Gyros means turn in Greek. The same rotating spit technique as shawarma and Döner developed independently in Greece. The difference is in the details. Shawarma uses tahini and flatbread. Döner uses white sauce and pita. Gyros uses tzatziki, tomato, onion, and fries inside the wrap. Greece puts fries inside the wrap itself, not on the side, inside. Greeks consider this completely logical. Everyone else considers it chaotic. Gyros became one of the most popular fast foods in Germany and the Netherlands after Greek immigrants arrived in the 1960s and never left.
Döner Kebab. The Döner Kebab, as the world knows it, was invented in Berlin in 1972 by a Turkish immigrant named Kadir Nurman. He served rotating spit meat inside flatbread for workers who needed to eat while walking. Germany did not invent the concept. Germany perfected the format. Today, Germany sells around 400 million Döner kebabs per year. That is more than McDonald's sells in Germany. A Turkish immigrant's street food idea now outsells the most powerful fast food corporation on earth in the country where it was invented.
Banh mi. Banh mi exists entirely because of French colonialism. France colonized Vietnam in the mid-1800s and introduced the baguette. Vietnamese bakers adapted it using rice flour, creating a lighter, crispier version. After France left, Vietnamese immigrants brought banh mi to the United States and Australia, where it became one of the most celebrated street foods in both countries. The combination of French bread, pickled vegetables, fresh herbs, and chili created something neither French nor Vietnamese had ever made before. Colonialism accidentally produced one of the greatest sandwiches in human history. Breakfast burrito. The breakfast burrito was invented in Santa Fe, New Mexico in 1975 at a restaurant called Tia Sofia's, which still exists today and still serves the original version. It took a flour tortilla and filled it with scrambled eggs, bacon, potatoes, and green chili. McDonald's introduced its version in 1991 and helped bring the breakfast burrito to every corner of the United States. It is now one of the most ordered breakfast items at fast food chains across America, Britain, and Australia.
Spring rolls. Spring rolls take their name from the Chinese New Year tradition of eating them to celebrate the arrival of spring. The original was a thin pancake filled with spring vegetables harvested after winter. The recipe spread across Southeast Asia and transformed completely in every country it touched. Vietnamese spring rolls use rice paper and are served fresh and cold. Chinese and Filipino versions are deep fried until shatteringly crispy.
Thai versions are larger and packed with glass noodles. Same name, completely different food depending on where you order it. California burrito. The California burrito was invented in San Diego in the 1980s and contains something no other burrito in the world contains: French fries inside the burrito. The logic is simple. San Diego's proximity to the Mexican border created a fusion culture where carne asada, cheese, sour cream, and a full serving of French fries were wrapped together into a single object. Food critics initially dismissed it as excessive. San Diego residents responded by eating more of them. The California burrito is now considered one of the defining regional foods of Southern California. Caesar wrap. The Caesar salad was invented in Tijuana, Mexico in 1924 by an Italian immigrant named Caesar Cardini, who ran out of ingredients during a busy 4th of July weekend and threw together whatever was left: romaine lettuce, parmesan, croutons, and a dressing made from egg, lemon, and Worcestershire sauce. The wrap version appeared in American offices and fast casual restaurants in the 1990s, when tortillas replaced bread as the default lunch format. The Caesar wrap is now the most ordered wrap at corporate lunch catering across the United States. A desperate improvisation in a Mexican kitchen became the defining office lunch of America. Falafel wrap. Falafel has been eaten across the Middle East for over 1,000 years. Egypt, Israel, Lebanon, and Palestine all claim to have invented it, and none of them have stopped arguing about it. The chickpea fritter, fried until crispy, stuffed into pita with tahini, tomatoes, and pickled vegetables, arrived in Western cities through Middle Eastern immigration in the 1970s and 1980s. In Amsterdam, Berlin, and London, falafel wraps became the default cheap street food for students and late-night crowds. A 1,000-year-old Middle Eastern staple is now the most eaten street food in several European capitals. Barbacoa burrito. Barbacoa comes from the Caribbean indigenous word that also gave English the word barbecue. Traditional barbacoa involves slow-cooking beef cheeks or head meat wrapped in leaves underground over hot coals for hours until the collagen breaks down completely and the meat falls apart on contact. Mexican families traditionally ate barbacoa on Sunday mornings after church. Chipotle brought barbacoa to mainstream American awareness in the 2000s, and it became one of their most ordered proteins. The most tender meat in any burrito has a direct linguistic connection to the word Americans use for backyard grilling.